Welcome to the Banker's View from the IMF series. I'm delighted to be joined today by Sunil Kaushal, who is the Regional CEO of Africa and Middle East for Standard Chartered. Sunil, thank you very much for joining us today.
Most welcome, John.
In the past few days here at the IMF, there's been once again a downgrade of the world economic growth prospects for 2029 and 2020. It'd be very good to get your thoughts on how this is going to impact Africa in the coming year. What growth trends do we see and what challenges are there, would you say?
I think there's certainly a moderation in global growth. There are multiple factors. Whether you look at the trade war, you look at the uncertainty from Brexit, major economies in Europe slowing down, led by Germany, some large economies in Asia slowing down. The impact on Africa is going to be through the commodity prices as global growth moderates. We are not yet in recession. We define global recession as anything below 2% growth. So this is more a moderation, but it will ultimately lead to lower commodity prices if it impacts demand, which it would if there is a slowdown.
One of the other interesting trends that we've seen here at the IMF meetings is the talk about climate change and linking into that sustainable finance. I mean, the new director, Kristalina Georgieva, was talking about how the fund is really integrating climate change and the risk of climate change into its models and its surveillance. This is all part of a kind of the trend towards sustainable finance. And I mean, this is something that we've seen a lot developing in Africa recently. I'm just wondering if you can talk about some of the trends that we have seen and that we're likely to see going forward.
It's no longer a trend. It is going to be mainstream, if not already. Regulators are looking at the impact of climate change on business model. They're looking at impact of climate change on portfolios of banks. And what it really leads to is how do you finance enterprises, economies in a sustainable manner? And Africa is a classic example. It is going to be one of the largest recipients of capital. It is going to be having one of the largest demand for capital, be it in infrastructure, be it in agriculture development, and be it in industrialization. So it is imperative on the providers of capital to ensure that it is deployed in a sustainable manner, because it's going to have an impact not only immediately, but also for many, many decades to come. Mm-hmm. So it's incumbent on all of us to ensure that we make sustainable finance mainstream.
One of the other things that's been mentioned here is, again, sort of digital banking, fintech, and the impact that that's going to have on the financial sector worldwide, particularly with the controversy around Facebook's Libra project. But in Africa, I mean, digital banking is nothing new. I mean, it's been going on for maybe 20 years now. And it's been one of the great success stories that's emerged from the continent, which other people have learned from. From your position, observing what's going on in Africa and being there on the ground, where do you think the digital revolution is going to lead next within the continent? What areas are going to open up?
We believe that digital banking has a long, long way to go. We've seen what you refer to, probably more telco, mobile-led, payments-driven kind of surge that took place. Mm-hmm. It has now grown into other services, but still there is a long way to go in terms of ensuring that everyone has a bank account, everyone has access to banking products, financial services products, and has equal and there's transparency in the availability of these products in terms of pricing, in terms of the terms that go with those products. Mm-hmm. For us, we have invested in digital in a big way. We are now in 8 countries as a end-to-end digital bank. The 9th one will be with us before the end of the year. And that means we'll have 9 countries with digital offerings, and where we intend to put all our products available anytime, anywhere on a mobile platform. And that's going to be massive. That's going to be massive. It leads to financial inclusion. It leads to greater participation, and also in many ways in terms of financial awareness.
Indeed. Well, there's been so much progress, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes in the coming years. So, Sunil, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Most welcome. Thank you.